Well, I think it's about that time that I talk to you guys about why I think Destiny 2 is losing its player base at an alarming rate. This is something that a lot of people probably didn't see coming. I know the hardcore player base really didn't see this coming. And one thing I really want to get out in front of is the word casual versus hardcore. Now, casual is not a bad word. It's mostly used to basically just talk about the opposite when it comes to the hardcore base. Now, when it comes to being a hardcore player, that only really means you want the best for the game. You're very passionate about the game. You want things in the game to be improved. Plus, the biggest thing is you want your time to be respected. You know, if you're going to put a lot of time into this type of looter shooter, it's all about how you spend that time. And when it comes to casual, that is basically the opposite of that. You are picking up the game because you may like this type of game. You may have some type of investment into the game, but not as much as somebody that wants to play it 20, 30, 40 hours a week. You basically just want to get in, get your little fun with the game, get everything you want to get out of it, and that's it. If you have friends that play the game, you'll probably play it with them. But overall, this game may not be the #1 entertainment option for you. There may be other things or other games that you are very more passionate about. And that's what we mean about being a casual. You know, you could be a hardcore gamer, but be a casual to a certain game. So what a lot of people really are missing the boat on is the hardcore player base really is just upset, I should say, because the things that we had in Destiny 1 are no longer there. Now, there's a lot of things about Destiny 2 that I love. I love the fact that the stories in the game, they actually put a very big emphasis on that from the very beginning. I like the way the mechanics still feel in the gunfights. I like all that stuff overall. I even like the Crucible to an extent, but there's really nothing to chase in this game once you get past like that 60-hour mark. And that is mostly the sweet spot for anybody that wants to play this game casually. I know a lot of my friends that bought this game that still are enjoying it off and on as a casual joy, just because they don't feel like they are being forced or they have this perceived pressure to grind to get to the next thing. And as long as that is the case, those people are more than happy with just coming into the game and getting their little time in, doing their little flashpoints and moving on and playing something else, especially this time of year because there's a lot of games coming on the horizon. But somebody like me that has over almost 2,000 hours in Destiny 1 and then just around 10 days on Destiny 2, and 10 days is an absolute lot when you're talking about a game only being out 5 to 6 weeks. So I put my time into Destiny 2, but how I feel right now is how I felt about Destiny 1 at some parts of year 2.5 and mostly in the end of year 3 towards like the waiting period for Destiny 2. That's when I really started feeling like this game is not giving me what I wanted to give me anymore. Now, any game that comes out with DLC, it's going to give it an injection of life. Most people already know that. But with Destiny 2, it just feels like everything around the game is just like kind of broken. You got glitches in the raid. We were actually doing that the other day when it came to the prestige version of it, and couldn't even get out the first room because every time somebody dies, it would make you have to literally go to orbit with one person just to bring them back so everybody could spawn in together. That happened like 5 or 6 times continuously, and that was super annoying. Then the fact that you really can't level up to meet the expectations of what the raid have for you because there's no drops in between encounters, you feel like you're fighting an uphill battle the whole time. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, there's people that beat it and there's people that actually conquered that grind, and that's what it's all about in Destiny 2. And you know what? You're right. But when it's not fun to do it, then you don't even want to beat your head against that wall to actually try it. In Destiny 1, we spent 8, 9, 10, 12 hours in a raid before to conquer it just because we knew we could do it. We just had to put it together. And like I said, the problem with this raid is we know we can do it, but I just don't have the desire to do it because those incremental upgrades that you would usually get in a raid that would help you feel a little bit more powerful, get you into that next light level to actually help you with the encounter, that's not there in Destiny 2. We don't know when the next light level increase is going to be. It's probably going to be in Destiny, the next DLC that's coming out in December. But the one thing that I'm tired of is let's wait to the next update. The next update is coming. Let's wait until that to see if they fix the issues that we have in this update. Now, hopefully a lot of this gets addressed from the fact that they were talking about it at TwitchCon when they were talking about seasons and how there's going to be 4 seasons in a year and you're going to get 3-month intervals. The sandbox is going to change and they're implementing different things into the game. And any type of feedback that you give them during that season is a good chance that you could see some type of resolution in the following season if there's a lot of people asking for a change like that. I really like that. That's more of a system where they're actually telling you like, hey, no matter what, this is going to get changed at this certain time. So no lingering updates like we had in Destiny 1 when it took 7 to 8 months for them to update the actual sandbox of the game. Nobody liked that. But as of right now, the people that love this game the most are the casual gamers. There are still hardcore gamers out there that love playing Destiny because Destiny is something that means a lot to them. A lot of people in the community built their actual livelihood off of Destiny, so they really depend on this game and they really want this game to do well, especially for monetary gains. And on top of that, it's just a good game to play. So when stuff like this in the community happens, it really, you really see the ugly side of the community. I hate to say that, but there's one thing that I do want to say, and I've been thinking about this for a while. Honestly, the hardcore community asked for this. Now, Bungie probably went way too far with some of the stuff that they did. They, instead of taking a slight left, they made a hard left. And what I mean by that is people were talking about how they wanted the game to be more balanced, how they wanted things to actually be the same, how they wanted the experience to be a more gun meta. And guess what? Destiny 2, that's what you have. You have a gun meta, and this is what a gun meta looks like. And I really don't believe that a lot of people really thought about it when this change was occurring, because they were so like still in love with playing D1, and they didn't think that when they said gun meta that Destiny would become literally that, a gun meta where your abilities only complemented what you did on the battlefield. This game is all about team shooting, all about communication. You really can't lone wolf it as much. You can still do really, really well in this game, but only if you're sticking with your team. Those over-the-top moments in Destiny 1 where you can snipe somebody, kill somebody with a primary, turn around and get 2 people with your super and get those breakers and stuff, you are very much not going to see those in Destiny 2. It can still happen. I've seen it happen in the game, but those plays do not happen or occur as much as they used to occur in Destiny 1. And I know a lot of the player base, especially the hardcore player base, misses that. And they miss the challenge of being able to be OP and your Guardian becoming legend, like the trailer says in Destiny 2. Because right now in Destiny 2, it just feels like power doesn't matter because you can get literally tore out of your super faster than you pop it. And that is across any class. Now, some classes deal with a little bit better than others, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the subclass trees for a lot of these games. And then they took a lot of the variety away from the subclasses by only having 2 different tiers of trees inside your subclass, and that's across all of them. You know, when you looked at your Destiny 1 subclass, you can see just rows upon rows of just different ways to make your character best. Now, with the invention of YouTube and people being able to put videos up, that basically just degraded down into what was the best build, and whatever a PvPer said was the best build is what 90% of the player base that probably didn't know anything about PvP and all they want to do is just play the game ended up going to. So the community is mostly at part for this. Bungie just made that hard left and never looked back when they did it. But ultimately, that is the decision that they made. But one thing that I really want to stress to them is, why did we leave so many of the quality of life changes back with Rise of Iron? I understand that Destiny 2 is a brand new game and brand new games deserve new systems and all that jazz. But why did we have to leave all the stuff that made Destiny 1 so enjoyable in the end game? Why did we lose strike specific loot? Why is that? What's the problem with getting loot at the end of a strike like you did in Destiny 1? Does that stop the player engagement? Does that hurt the game because people getting the loot, too fast? No, you're actually giving the loot out faster now than you were in D1, which is crazy because by the time D1 ended, you can get loot from pretty much anywhere and it was not hard to find. They're actually doing it faster in D2, which is kind of of crazy. So is it the fact that we don't have enough weapons? Sometimes it feels that way because it's no random rolls anymore, but I guarantee you there is a lot of weapons in this game. But the fact we don't have anything like a carrot on a stick that actually brings us into these activities is what one of the biggest problems are for Destiny 2. You know, I only ran the strikes enough to basically do the challenges I needed to do to unlock Nightfalls, and guess what? I haven't run a Nightfall since the first week of Destiny, and that was just to get my sidearm, the Rat King, that I had to do by beating the first Nightfall. Once I did that, I saw no reason to go into the Nightfall and even do it anymore. I tried doing the prestige version of that Nightfall. It was murderous, and I felt like, why would I do this to myself, because this is so crazy? But I digress on that. But the fact that I'm not interested in that, and a lot of other people aren't interested in that actually play this game on a day-to-day basis, is a big problem. But the people that are enjoying this game are the people that probably haven't even gotten to that point yet. I have a lot of my friends on my friends list. Shout out to Boom, shout out to Luca. Luca just hit 300. Congratulations to you, girl. But overall, those people are just either getting to the end game or haven't even got close to the end game yet. So they're still enjoying the grind of what Destiny is. And that, for them, I am super jealous of, because I was one of those people that jumped in, and within the first 3 days of it, I probably logged over 20 hours of gameplay. That was what I did in Destiny, probably closer to 30, because I was always on the game. Even when I got off work, I was neglecting everything around the house. My wife was yelling at me, and that's just that life of being a Destiny player, especially for a hardcore player. So I understood that, and I understood what I was getting myself into trying to get raid ready a week later. So that's my fault, and I understand that. But the rest of the player base that's still enjoying this game, congratulations to you. But sooner or later, you will get to this point, and when you hit it, you'll be like, what is there for me to do? Nothing at all. You get everything from engrams now. You don't even get them from the actual in-game activity like you should. You have to go through the raid. You get one raid drop if you're lucky through the whole raid, which is at the very end, and the rest of it all is given to you from a vendor inside the tower. What is that all about, Bungie? Like, I didn't play your game to actually go play a slot machine in a tower that we didn't even know was gonna be there from the beginning. And let's just talk about how the tower ended up back there. It's the most craziest thing in the world, because Destiny 2 was all about this grand story about how you lose your light and how you had to struggle to survive and had to bring humanity back together to actually fight back the forces of Gaul and the Red Legion. And within the first 15-20 minutes of the game, you had your powers back. And it was like it never happened ever before. And on top of that, there's certain things that happen in Destiny 1 that are not even referenced in Destiny 2. When Lord Saladin comes back to the tower for the first Iron Banner, at the very end of that first one, he talked to you about being his wolf. You were Iron Lord. You were somebody to be reckoned with. And when he first lays eyes on you in Destiny 2, all he does is just give you a line about how the Iron Lords was this and that and blah, blah, blah. Come on. What happened to the progression in the story? Games like Mass Effect did this so well so long ago, and there's so many other games that still do it, and I can't get some type of dialogue with an NPC that had a whole DLC built around him, and how you actually fought back Siva to actually bring a stop to it, and you became a person that was on the same level playing field as him, and you don't even bring it up. So I digress on that. You know, I think the only part of Destiny where they actually talk about anything you did in Destiny 1 was at the very beginning of Destiny during the homecoming mission, when you run into Shaxx, when he calls you Saladin's young wolf and he opens up his armory to you so you can get weapons and he protects the people. That's the only thing that I seen or heard in Destiny 2 that had any type of inkling of what happened in the first one. But you know what? I take that back. There is this one spot when you're on Titan, which is a moon around Saturn. You can look at the ring and you can see the circular path around the Dreadnought when it exploded in that cutscene, and it put like this big gaping hole in the actual ring of Saturn. And you can see that from the platform on Titan. So that was pretty cool too. You can actually see a little piece of the Dreadnought there too. But from everything I've seen so far, unless there's some type of story element hidden inside of the adventures, because I haven't done them all yet, that's it. no other mentions of anything else that was in Destiny 1 that moved over to Destiny 2. In some instances, it's like it never ever happened. And that's another part that at least I am a little frustrated with. I can't tell you if everybody else is. But guess what? Destiny 2 is a great game. It did drop, like they said, sharply in the player base. It's seeing a good half or even more of its player base just decline over especially the last week, because Iron Banner really didn't do this any favors. They talked about how they gathered 15,000 years worth of data during the Iron Banner and how they're going to implement the fact that you'll be able to buy weapons with coins or with shards and stuff now going forward. And that's not going to be in the next Iron Banner. That's going to be the one that's going to take place in season 2. So guess what? We got to deal with this crappy Iron Banner for one more week when it comes out again in either November, because that's probably when it's going to come out. But honestly, that's for the most part is all I really have to say about Destiny 2 and how I feel about it and what the biggest issues for the player base is. We're not going to really get into the whole bright engram thing because I really don't have a problem with that. It just seems like they're really doubling down on just the collection side of the game. Like Luke Smith said, he wants things to be like moments in Destiny, and the things that you do in those moments are the things you collect, like auras and engrams and shaders. That's the stuff that they want Destiny 2 to be known for, not just the weapons and the armors. They want those meaningful events to happen. But guess what? Weapons and armor are the meaningful things in Destiny. I don't remember when I got a certain shader, but I do remember when I got my first Gallahorn. Actually, my second Gallahorn, because my first one I bought because I was one of those smart people that bought the first one that he sold on week 2 of Destiny. I didn't get my first drop of Gallahorn until like literally a week before House of Wolves, which was like 8 months later. So I'm glad I bought it. But when I did get my first drop, I did get it from Deathsinger during Crota's End, and I was just as happy as a person that got it for the first time because it was the first time I actually seen a drop of it. And that's how long I would have waited to get that if I didn't already have it. So I remember that. That was very meaningful to me. What was meaningful to you guys? Was there anything in Destiny 2 that was more meaningful than anything in Destiny 1? I can't come up with anything. They finally threw the story in the game, but they took away all the things that should be in D2 that are in D1. I just don't understand that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys got to say down in the comment section. As you can see, I didn't even give you my intro at the beginning of this, so that just lets you know how I am just more and more frustrated with the way that this game has been handled. And I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm not gonna put it down, but I just hope that we don't have another situation where we just say, wait for the next DLC, wait for the next DLC. I'm committed through this year because I bought the $100 version of Destiny, so I have all the DLCs already paid for, so I'm gonna play out this year. But who knows, Destiny 3 or whatever that one that's gonna come out September of next year, if they don't do something, they're gonna lose a lot more than just the player base that they had. They're gonna lose all the hardcore players that really care about this game once they see that this game isn't what they want anymore. And honestly, Anthem, if it is half of what we think it's gonna be, look out Bungie. So I'll be looking forward to see what you guys got to say in the comment section. Make sure you like this video if you like the content, sub to the channel if you haven't, turn on those notifications, gonna let you know the next time my videos go live. It's your boy Gaming Forte. You guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Peace.